What's up, you legends, and welcome back to the Fabled Storm. And tonight we're going to be doing a reaction to the new God of War Svartalfheim level for God of War Ragnarok. I think it's the Dwarven level, something like that. And this is a first look at it through Game Informer. So I think that's the channel I was on. Anyway, we're just going to take a look at it and talk about it. A huge God of War enthusiast here, and I'm going to be playing it on the channel. I got a playlist if you want to go watch me play God of War 1. I know it's 4 years old at this point, but it's still awesome, and so why would you, not want to see that? Other than that, if you like this content, like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything that I post. Leave a comment. I will get back to you. I've gotten back to everybody that's commented on anything that I posted so far. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into it.
Jay from Game Informer here. In God of War 2018, we traversed Midgard and its massive Lake of the Nine, Alfheim, home to light and dark elves, Helheim, the underworld, alongside Jotunheim, the land of giants, and even Niflheim and Muspelheim,
I like this.
which pushed players' skills to the limit with combat trials.
Well, we've
Sadly,
already seen this. Oh, that looks really nice.
Told me we'll get to explore all 9 in God of War Ragnarok, and that the
Feels
ones
kind of
we've seen
hobbity.
before will feel new again. But without further ado,
Well, all right, that was a transition.
A realm that exemplifies
Svartalfheim.
Dwarven ingenuity. I'm talking technical marvels.
You got to take out that raven.
Pits, artificial water channels, and sprawling cities, all setting the stage for potentially complex environmental puzzles.
It looks like an outside version of Inside the Mountain
Kratos'
from
toolset,
God of War
his weapons,
2018.
and yes, his son, Atreus. In Svartalfheim, Kratos can
That's
free
kinda cool.
geysers by way of the Leviathan axe, dismantle pots with his blades of chaos, and command the boy to interact with out-of-reach devices. I spoke with 2 level designers about Svartalfheim's creation, and both talked about evolving the gameplay.
I mean, this
in
kind of,
larger
it
spaces.
feels, that's
The world
a
and
Zelda
its
thing there,
mechanics
being
reflect
able
the
to
narrative. In
freeze the
reveal
ground and
trailer,
stuff.
We watched Kratos and company use sled
And then
bolts
being
get
able
from
to
one
break
far-off
stuff
point
and
to the next.
move. I don't
In
know.
these
There's
frozen
just, I feel
areas
like there's more
Svartalfheim, we'll row
interaction
down streams or through
with
open
certain
waters in
things,
a
and
canoe.
maybe there will be more
Perhaps there will be
puzzles
more
than there were in the
transportation methods, but
2018.
for now, all of this suggests a
Well, that
journey
was fast.
faster and bolder than what came before. For more on the cover story, head to our hub at Massive Lake of the Nine, Alfheim, home to light and dark elves.
I'll turn this down real
Helheim,
quick
the underworld, alongside Jotunheim, the land of giants.
so we can just talk about it. So it looks pretty. I like this. The water is more like a tropical color than it was before. Yeah, but all this is a very kind of, Lord of the Rings, Middle Earthy, I guess, in some ways. And that kind of looks like some sort of like feudal Japan sort of design going on there. Or, yeah, I mean, it's very neat what they were able to do with this. I like having a new world to go look at too, and the foliage, it's not so bleak and like snowy as it was before.
But without further ado, welcome to Svartalfheim, a realm that exemplifies.
So we got to kill this raven. I'm glad that mechanic's back. That'll be super fun to catch all those things again. Not tedious at all. I did it anyway, and I've, after the first 1,000 times you do it, you just kind of get used to it. But yeah, this is very much inside the mountain. This is just the outside. So the dwarves were definitely the ones that made it. If this is their realm, he said Dwarven architecture. I think I kind of like this new map. I feel like this looks different than it did before, or maybe I'm crazy. But it will be neat. It still has some of that 2018 God of War feel. I just hope it's a bigger area and it wasn't like when you're searching off the edge of like a little island in the Lake of Nine, and you're just, going up here and then this will zip line over to something else. It looks like it's going to be way more vast than it was before. And we get a little bit new foliage stuff. We got Mimir back here. I love Kratos' armor right here. If this is like your start off set, it's going to be hard for me to change because it just looks so good. So, that's pretty awesome. I do like the way that it looks. So I got to say, I can't fault it for any of that.
I'm talking technical marvels like mine pits, artificial water channels, and sprawling cities, all setting the stage for potentially complex environmental puzzles.
Yeah, so the puzzles thing is something I think is really neat because in the old God of War, games before 2018, you had a lot of puzzles. And I think because in 2018's God of War, it was very story driven. I mean, not that the old ones weren't story driven, but it was sort of like you got to get to a goal, brute force it any way possible. And in the new one, it was much more combat, but you don't want to take away from the story where Kratos and his kid are growing and bonding and changing, and one person's learning to let go and to be more honest and to trust his kid, and his kid is growing to be like, he wasn't around, but now he is, and I need to prove something to him. A very father-son dynamic that they focused on. Well, now that we've had that building dynamic and we know how that ended, we can then move on to this one where we have that established, and he can still him and Atreus can still go and build that relationship, but you can have more puzzles. There's more stuff that doesn't feel like it's taking away or being tedious.
To navigate the new realm, we'll need to rely on Kratos' tool set, his weapons, and yes, his son, Atreus.
Yeah, so this thing right here, that's like using the ice arrows or like the Sheikah Slate or something to freeze something in Legend of Zelda. But if it was Zelda at some point, you'd probably make a thing here, and then you'd be able to jump on it and ride it up one of these geysers to the top. If that happens, that's going to be hilarious. But it looks like there's a chest over here, so it's good to know that those will be back. I did enjoy trying to solve those puzzles. Like, there were those little puzzles in 2018's God of War, but there was so much different about God of War 2018 versus any of the other ones. And I say 2018 because, I mean, you do have the old God of Wars, right? And you have to acknowledge that they existed so you can even get here. It's not like they just rebooted it. They made a continuation story from what happened. He still has the Blades of Chaos. He's still Greek and all that stuff. So you got to include that in what you say about this. So this is neat. Okay, so when it first went through here, one of the things I noticed was like these little floating islands with trees on them. I really hope you can actually get up on top of these and they're not just for show. Like, it would be really cool if you can traverse the whole environment. Like, I'm not no Breath of the Wild stuff where you can literally climb anything, but I would like to be able to, because it kind of reminds me of something from like Avatar. It would be really cool to like get up here and like look out over everything, see what's going on in the world. I hope there's really good vantage points where you can look out and just see like the beauty of the level, like a highest peak in every realm. And some of them are just like flat nothing or something. I don't know. I don't think they would do that. It doesn't seem to be the way they do it. But I mean, I guess in Niflheim, they did that in 2018 because you're just in the maze of the mist, so you don't ever really get to see how beautiful it would be in another part of the realm. So it would be really cool to see that again. This weird pot thing reminds me of something from like Hellboy and the Golden Army.
Chaos and command the boy to interact with out of reach devices. I spoke with 2 level.
Oh, it's just like a cap that stops this from being able to turn. Okay, cool. So, and that's something that would happen in like, well, again, I got to bring up like a Zelda game, something like that. Like, these puzzles are going to bring stuff back from other games, but having jets that turn stuff that'll unlock other things, and I don't know why there are other games that have done it, but that's sort of just what comes to mind. But that's going to be some really awesome gameplay. So this, I'm glad they came back here. Okay, so besides, he's talking about sled wolves and like the snow stuff, that was stuff we saw in the trailer where Freya tries to kill you. You can use that to traverse snowy areas. But what I like is that there are houses and people. In God of War 2018, everything was basically desolate waste. There was nothing there. The only humans you ever met tried to kill you really early in the game, and then you killed them, and then everything else was dead. So I like the idea of there being little towns and cities, and some of the stuff that we saw in the previous trailers alluded to that, where there will be like civilizations in these realms. And I think that's fascinating because I want to see Kratos. I don't know. I want it to be kind of like Fable or Skyrim or something. Just have NPCs around the towns, and you can go in, and that's what I would like. I don't know that they're going to do that. This might be one of those things where, you never actually get to go in any of these places, which would be absolutely sad. I really hope that we can interact with people, because the last time that I remember Kratos like interacting with a world where there were other people was like Ghost of Sparta, where he goes back to Sparta because there's like the brothel scene. But that's not the important part of that. The big thing is that he walked through Sparta and there were people there. There were other individuals around besides him, and you could acknowledge some of them, and it was you. The whole point was you getting somewhere, but it felt like stuff was happening in the world. And the thing about God of War 2018 is it felt like two lone adventurers with a head, so maybe three. Because I love Vamir. I'm so glad that he's back. He's in it. I can't wait to hear more boat stories and all that stuff. So I think it's going to be great. But it was two people going and doing all these things and killing enemies and freeing dragons or doing whatever it was you were doing in your side quest and your main quest. But the only people you ever got to meet were Freya, who you only interacted with for certain points, Brock and Sindri, who you went to for upgrades, but eventually could run out of dialogue, and then just the enemies you killed that were sentient. So basically, like Magni and Modi, and everything else was a troll or something you never really got to. I mean, of course you have Balder, but it felt like Midgard had nothing in it. Like all of humanity was dead and gone, and you probably killed the last one. So I really hope that they're like, here's a refuge of people, and you go see them, and because the whole point was like Atreus is trying to make Kratos trust people, be like, hey, not everybody hates us, they can help us, because there are going to be people that don't want to die in Ragnarok, and they're like, the gods' war isn't our war, and we would like to survive in the realms. So yeah, we're totally for helping you find Tyr and helping you do whatever it is to stop Ragnarok. Is that really where the game's going to go? I don't know, because they can totally lure us into a false sense of hope that it'll be this one thing or not, and do a complete plot twist on us. But we won't know until it gets here. So I am interested to see if you can interact with the civilizations and the worlds.
Point to the next, but in less frozen areas like Svartalfheim, we'll row down streams or through open waters in a canoe. Perhaps there will be more transportation methods,
but everybody seems to be kind of like running away there, so I don't really know how I feel about that. So I guess that's pretty much everything that they had for this trailer, and that's all my thoughts on this particular one. So I don't know. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be really cool to see the worlds. I hope they're all, like, if you're going to visit all 9 realms, I hope they're all grand in scale and really well thought out, beautiful. They have, their own specific things that make them the worlds that they are. And it's not just reskin stuff. That was sort of one of the things that happened in the last one. Like, no matter which realm you went to, even the enemies were the same. So, and there's a combat one that I'm about to do a reaction to too. So we'll see what that, if anything's changed with that one. But besides that, if you like this content, like and subscribe. Again, hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything. Drop a comment. Tell me what you think. Are you looking forward to this? Or do you have any thoughts on it? Any insights? Maybe things that you would like to see? Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Who knows? But if you just want to leave that down there, I'll definitely get back to you. I'd love to see some discussion in the comments. Other than that, I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful day. And until we meet again, peace.